and gentlemen, I was planning on waiting until the end of the draft to make this video. Chicago still has a couple more picks at the time that I'm recording this, and I was curious to see what they were actually going to do with those picks. But, we gotta talk about this. Now sure, Caleb Williams, we all knew he was going to be a Chicago Bear for weeks at this point. It was a foregone conclusion as soon as we saw this hit the headlines. But throughout this offseason, there was the underlying question of both who and how was this team going to surround him with talent. Now through free agency, they did that. Through trade, that move even caught Chicago fans by surprise. And now somehow even doing it through the draft. You guys, one way or another, I can sure as hell promise you this. What this team does on the field this season, it's gonna be something that we have never seen before. But before we get into that, today's video is sponsored by our friends at BetterHelp. Now, ladies and gentlemen, therapy is not something I typically talk about. In fact, it's something I've even avoided for most of my life. I mean, whether it be anxiety, mental health, grief, even stress as an example for myself that I've dealt with from time to time. In terms of just finding someone to talk to, honestly, I never knew how crucial that was until I got my hands on BetterHelp. Because while connecting you with a licensed therapist who is trained to listen and give you unbiased, helpful advice, it's really as simple as signing up on their website, answering just a few questions to find the right therapist for you. And whether you prefer to message, call, video chat, or talk at really any point in time, BetterHelp will find you the right professional, all from the comfort of your own home. And if you guys head over to betterhelp.com/footballdigest, which will be linked down below, you'll receive a special discounted offer on their first month of services. So guys, do yourself a favor, check out the link down below, and get yourself signed up through the best in BetterHelp.
Williams with time, delivered
into the end zone, caught, touchdown, Odunze for the second time tonight.
You guys, I'm gonna be honest, I didn't think it was possible on night one of the draft. I mean, you walk away with the crown jewel of the class even after being a formidable team last season. You're able to practically steal who some considered the number 2 wideout in this draft without having to give up any additional assets to do so. And believe me, I already know what some of you are probably going to say in the comments, in the sense that despite how phenomenal all of this looks right now, at least on a piece of paper for these guys, there's still the fact that quite literally over half of this projected starting offense, they haven't played a single snap of football together in their entire lives. But I mean, just because we don't necessarily have any film of these guys on the field together, that definitely doesn't mean we don't know what they're going to be capable of doing together. Now again, Bears fans, you probably already know everything there is to know about this guy. Like, he's been your quarterback for a couple months at this point. A pure athletic gunslinger who's exceptional in his pocket presence. He's got great read progression. He can extend plays consistently out of the pocket. And whether he is on both feet or even just one, it's pretty clear through some of the film and even his numbers in college that there doesn't seem to be a throw on the field that this guy cannot make. Then, in terms of this guy, Odunze is one of, if not the best contested catch wideout prospects that we have seen in years in the draft. And some of his numbers, they can definitely testify to that as well. Like, he's a wideout that doesn't necessarily wow you with his speed, but when you consider the size and the build of a guy like this, I mean, there is little to no reason at all to think that it won't translate to the professional level. But even when you consider the fact that while he's going to be sharing a wide receiver room with guys like Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, it's one thing in itself when you consider what that is going to do for something like, say, his development as a wide receiver. But then when you think about how they're going to be able to operate with all of these weapons at Caleb Williams' disposal, like, guys, it could be the perfect combination. Let's start with the pass game, which seemingly for the first time in years in Chicago actually has an identity going into a new season. Now, what exactly do I mean by this? Well, with the Bears' new hire of offensive coordinator Shane Waldron this offseason, every single trade, signing, and draft pick this team has made is clearly being used to favor to Chicago's new desired scheme they plan to incorporate. For example, in an anticipated offense that is going to heavily operate both out of 11 and 12 personnel, like Seattle did under Waldron last season, he's worked to build out a core of pieces who both fit his scheme perfectly and also thrive in what is likely to be their desired role. Because obviously, this team has their X receiver lined up on the outside, returning in DJ Moore. And with the promising numbers that he had in his initial season, you then pair him up with who is going to be the other split out receiver who you grabbed in this draft in Rome, who between those two, you really can't get a better combination between both speed and route running. Then, of course, you've got Keenan Allen, which I don't think many people realize that he actually took a majority of his reps last season out of the slot and was arguably the most productive receiver in the league at doing so despite his age. And even when you think of throwing guys like Kmet and Gerald Everett into the mix, not only is this personnel versatility going to create gaps in coverage more consistently for these guys to exploit, but also it's a group that's seemingly known across the board from some of the film that you're looking at, who are able to take advantage of extended route running when the pocket collapses. And when you look at Chicago's offensive line production from last season, yeah, this team, they operated out of a collapsed pocket pretty frequently last year. But they also didn't have a guy with the efficiency of Caleb Williams when operating under pressure, commanding that offense. Like, again, you guys, I'm not sure if you've seen the touch this guy can put on the football from really any angle he's throwing it from, for that matter. But honestly, if you couple the raw skill sets along with the situation this kid is being thrown into, I don't think a rookie quarterback has ever seen anything like this. But hey, that's not even mentioning the run game he's going to be supported by right on top of this, which, as if adding a guy like DeAndre Swift wasn't already going to be a positive for these guys, this is a team coming off of what was statistically damn near the most productive one on the ground in the entire league. You also cannot forget about this team's defense, who with additions like Montez Sweat last year, Kevin Byard, Jonathan Owens, I could keep going. Then even the rest of what they're going to do in this year's draft. But you guys, more than anything, this is where I want to hear what you have to think about it. So please be sure to let me know in the comments what has surprised you the most out of everything Chicago has done in this offseason up to this point. And if you had to, predict what the record is going to be at the end of the 2024 season. But once again, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate y'all more than anything, and I will see you guys in the next video.